Welcome to the Limitless Paralegal Academy, where ambition meets evolution. I'm Etta Rosa, founder and believer that the legal industry can be both purposeful and profitable when led with intention. You're about to dive into the Legal Marketing and Branding course, led by Chelsea Jones, a marketing guru for over 5 years now, specifically in the legal industry. She will share with you what takes her clients months, at times even years, to master. So be patient with yourselves. This course will guide you through how to automatically market your services, build a powerful personal or firm brand, and use proven strategies, tips, and tools to stand out and grow with confidence. Remember, this isn't just education, it's transformation. So grab your workbook, take notes, and prepare to elevate your career one intentional step at a time. Let's get limitless.
Welcome to the Marketing and Branding for Legal Professionals course with the Limitless Academy. I'm really excited to have you here and dive into really the foundation of everything that you would need to know to set yourself up for success when it comes to marketing and building a brand and building a name that works as hard as you do. This is just a breakdown of what's to come. So there's 6 modules in this course. We'll have foundations of legal marketing to kick things off. We'll also go over personal branding, social media for legal pros, branding the legal business. We'll go over thought leadership as well, what that means, what that looks like, a visibility strategy. And then lastly, we'll end things with marketing that converts. So let's get right into it. Before we get into it, though, I do want to give a quick introduction. I'm Chelsea. I'm the founder of Chelsea and Media, a social media management agency for lawyers. I specialize in helping lawyers build personal brands online, and I've been doing this for over 5 years now. So I'm really excited to take everything I've learned and also implement that into this course. So before we begin, I just wanted to go over a little bit of what you can expect from the course. This course is designed so that you walk away feeling empowered on how to position yourself when it comes to marketing and personal branding in the legal industry. You're going to be able to walk away and position yourself or your firm as a trusted authority, know how to build visibility online ethically, of course, and implement actionable branding strategies. So whether you're working in a firm or you're running a solo business, you're going to be able to walk away with a clear game plan on how to grow and market your legal presence. And a few other tips as well to keep in mind as we go through the course. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Make sure you're connecting with others in our Slack community, and make sure you remember to take it one step at a time. Building a personal brand does not happen overnight. And lastly, but most importantly, remember progress over perfection. It's all about those small, consistent steps that we have to take. Let's dive right in. And this is Module 1, Foundations of Legal Marketing. So you're here because you know something powerful. I'm willing to bet you already can tell things are shifting online in the online space with the legal industry. The law firm owners, the legal professionals that are adapting right now and learning how to make short form video, be on Instagram, be on TikTok, are the ones that are thriving and getting results. So I want to go over some essentials that you need to know to start marketing yourself. Not just marketing yourself, right, but also ethically and doing it strategically and doing it in a way that gets sustainable results. So in this module, we'll cover what legal marketing actually means. We're also going to go over ethical boundaries. We're going to cover knowing your audience, the importance of being clear on who you're speaking to, and then the psychology behind trust and why that is so important. But first, I want to pose this question. So when potential clients or colleagues or employers want to know about you, right, or learn about you, maybe learn how to work with you, where do you think they go first? And I want you to really take a minute and just think about that. Like, where would a potential client go to connect with you? And then once you kind of have thought about that, I want to go over this answer. Google, LinkedIn, Instagram, your firm's website, essentially a marketing avenue, right? That's where a potential client, colleague, or employer is likely going to go to first to figure out who you are, what you do, how you help, who you help, how to work with you. And if you don't have Instagram, you don't have a LinkedIn presence, you don't have a website, you're not popping up on Google, you're not controlling that narrative. You're not allowing this bridge of accessibility for people to reach you, which is crucial. And I think what's worse is not having any narrative at all. So if you don't have a website, any online presence, you have nothing. Like, there's nothing out there for people to work with. So we're going to fix that in this course. What is legal marketing? So a lot of times when we think about marketing, I feel like most people think about sales, like, a salesperson using marketing to sell something. But really the reality now is that legal marketing is a strategic way to maintain top of mind awareness and visibility. This also helps you cultivate trust and come across opportunities. So you don't even really have to be selling something. We actually don't want to be always, when we're posting and marketing, selling something. We want to be connecting with people. So what this could look like is sharing your expertise, building relationships, positioning yourself as a trusted authority, and being able to open doors for career advancement. So let's go over a little bit about ethics, because that is a really important part of this, especially in the legal industry. So there's 3 non-negotiables, and then we'll go over, these are pulled from the guidelines. So we'll go over kind of an overview, and then I have links below here that you can screenshot, save, come back to, just to refer to the guidelines in detail. But overall, we want to keep in mind these 3 things. Confidentiality. We never want to share client details or case specifics. We want to lead into educational content, not legal advice. And we want to be truthful. We want to have an accurate representation of who we are, right, and what we do. So an overview of the guidelines here, I just have a few bullet points. The first one is legal advertising must be truthful, not misleading. So that's pulled from the non-negotiables. Another one is disclosing paralegal status in professional communications and content. So that'll be important too if you're a paralegal watching this, to make sure you're disclosing that you are a paralegal in your communications and content, and we can talk more in even the Slack community of how that would look. And then the last one is no legal advice in marketing content, education only, professional integrity, and all public representations. So those are some main key things we want to keep in mind when it comes to ethically marketing and promoting ourselves. Understanding your audience. So this is really important. We want to always remember that we're not speaking to just one group of people. You're more oftentimes than not speaking to a couple different groups of people. And those different groups need to be kind of targeted in a different way, right? You wouldn't say the same thing to a potential client who needs your legal help to an employer or to a colleague who already knows about that stuff. So you kind of want to keep that in mind. But this is just a simplistic breakdown of 3 groups of people you're usually speaking to. You've got clients, that's current clients, that could be potential clients, that could be referral sources. You've got employers, so your current firm, maybe future opportunities. And then you have colleagues, right? Colleagues within your professional network, people you collaborate and work with. So we want to keep that in mind. And then the know, like, trust factor. This is so important. And this is where infusing your personality in your content is really important, because how can somebody know, like, and trust you if all you're doing is selling, all you're doing is promoting? So we want to avoid that and try to nurture this know, like, and trust factor, which is about, do they know you exist? Do they connect with you? Do they believe in your expertise? And we'll talk about how you can actually build that know, like, trust factor, but always keep this in the back of your mind as you are creating content. Your marketing success framework. So this looks like something like this. We want to have clarity, right, to set ourselves up for success. We want to define our expertise, what we're going to bring to the table, and the audience we're speaking to. We also want to establish consistency, and this is really a struggle from the work I do. Working with lawyers and legal professionals, the consistency piece is so important. I want to say, honestly, that's the key thing you need out of this whole thing. I mean, of course, we also want to be compliant and have clarity, but if you are compliant and you have clarity, but you're not consistently posting, you're still not going to get the success. So that's really important. And then the compliance, following the ethical guidelines always. So at the end of Module 1, congratulations, you finished the first module of the course. I want you to start building your ideal audience avatar now. I want you to start getting clear on who you're speaking to and where you would find them in the marketing content. So I've already made this worksheet for you. You can download it right here on this page and start diving into this. If you have questions, reach out. Otherwise, I will see you in Module 2. Welcome back to the Marketing and Branding for Legal Professionals course. I'm so excited to have you here. We're diving into personal branding today, which is one of my favorite topics and things to talk about, mainly because of what I do for a living, helping legal professionals build personal brands. So let's dive right into Module 2. Let's talk a little bit about what personal branding is and what it's not. So personal branding is not about being an influencer. It's not about competition either. What personal branding looks like is strategic visibility of your expertise. It's also consistent professional messaging, so being very consistent in what you talk about, how you talk, how your content even looks aesthetically. It's also about building relationships. That's huge. I mean, personal branding is the key to that, because if people can distinguish you by the type of content you're putting out, right, that's going to help you become more recognized and noticed and build those relationships. It also helps tremendously with positioning yourself as a trusted authority and positioning you as that go-to expert. When it comes to brand voice, and I want to say that this is not a one-size-fits-all, and it's not that you need to look at this slide and walk away with, okay, this is my voice, I can't stray from that. The thing to always keep in mind is that it's really important to be fluid and just be flexible, right? Even with content and marketing, things are changing all the time, and we're humans. We grow, we evolve. But this is just an idea to give you a sense of some different brand voices, right, that you could start building off of. Look this over and kind of lean into what resonates with you and what feels aligned with you. A few examples are an authoritative expert kind of voice, speaking more from your expertise. You could also be more of like an approachable educator, where you're taking the expertise, but you're really breaking it down and leaning into their point of view. You can be a behind the scenes, more authentic voice, really going, and I feel like I'm more like this. This is my personal style and voice as an example, where you're coming from a place of like insight people might not know, like this is what really goes on, you know, this is a common struggle I see. And then there's inspirational mentor, leaning more into motivational tones. So I will say a lot of my clients I work with, I would say more so lean towards this. It especially goes a long way with cultivating referral relationships when you're coming from that more motivational empowerment point of view. And of course, depending right on what we talked about in Module 1, who you're speaking to, your voice and style may shift and change, and that's totally fine. So some crazy and very important stats I wanted to include here about why your personal brand matters. A 2019 study found that 70% of jobs are never posted publicly. Like, that's crazy. That goes to show the power of networking and knowing people. And then a 2023 finding found that 92% of companies use social media to recruit candidates. Some LinkedIn data, 80% of professionals consider networking vital to career success. That's not a shock, but just goes to show how important the networking and relationship building is. Belief to have is that your reputation is your most valuable asset. I mean, that's a known thing, especially when you're building a business and building a career. How can you build anything and build a trusted clientele if you don't have a reputation, right? So those are some interesting stats that I want you to keep in mind throughout the course. let's talk about platform selection, because I'm sure as you're going through this course, you're thinking, start marketing, this is my goal, this is so helpful, but like I just don't know where to begin. And a common thing I see in my line of work is lawyers will come to me and say, I don't know where to start. Like Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, Facebook, there's so many different platforms. My biggest tip to you as you're watching this is to pick one that you enjoy and master that and go from there. You don't need to be everywhere. You just need to be strategic and intentional. So this is kind of a breakdown of, the purpose behind each platform, and you can kind of think of what resonates more so to you and your goals. LinkedIn is seen more for professional networking, thought leadership type of content, which we'll talk more about in this course. Instagram is very much relationship building, behind the scenes content, really nurturing your community. TikTok is more so like a top of awareness. It's more like top of the funnel of your marketing, gaining content, kind of having a little more fun with it. I have clients who are on Instagram. We do a strategy there, but we'll cross post. We'll take the videos and post them to TikTok to just like have that top of mind awareness. You could always do that. And then Facebook is really beneficial for those local connections. So for connecting with your community and like professionals and colleagues within your community. Consider these things when you're also deciding what platform to focus on. I want you to consider where your audience spends the most time most likely. So I want you to think about what feels more natural to you. Could you see yourself posting on TikTok? Could you see yourself creating Instagram content? Do you maybe already have Instagram and follow people and use that in your free time? Or is it Facebook or LinkedIn? I also want you to consider what you can maintain consistently. So again, going back to choosing a platform you enjoy, I say this because energy matters. I promise you it does. If you have never used TikTok and don't understand it or don't want to understand it, and then you suddenly decide to start marketing on TikTok, that's going to show in your performance. It's going to show in the content. It just will. I can explain it, but there's a certain thing to be said about the energy you show up with, and people can read that and people can see that. And ultimately, if you don't like the platform, you're probably not going to maintain it consistently. So that's something really important to keep in mind. Also talk a little bit about bios, right? So on your profiles, like LinkedIn or Instagram, you have a profile, you'll have a bio space that talks about you. This is where I see a lot of legal professionals kind of dropping the ball with maybe formatting this in a way that does not clearly explain who they are, who they help, and how you can get in touch. So I wanted to include some examples, and here's also a formula to save, screenshot. We want your bio to say who you are, who you help, and then have a call to action, which is a common mistake I see made a lot. So some examples could be family law paralegal, helping attorneys deliver exceptional client service. Learn more, and then your website. Or Instagram, it could be something like family law paralegal, helping families navigate divorce with clarity. Book a free consult below. And then you can have that link on your Instagram profile. So I hope you can kind of see what we're going for here. We want to, insert like your area of practice, something about your specialty or what you do, focus on who you help, and then preferably like your website, your phone number, something for people to get in touch. And then also alongside that, to add to bios, we want to have a value statement. And this doesn't necessarily need to be displayed in the bio, but it will help you formulate the bio and make content. We want to be very clear on who you help, what you do, and how you achieve it. So I have a formula there. And an example would be, I help small business owners protect their companies through practical content review and business formation guidance. Having that value statement is going to become the foundation now of your content, of your messaging, which is very valuable. Hence the name value statement. So that wraps up module 2. I want you to take everything we just covered and now work on this brand foundation worksheet. So there's going to be sections here for you to work on your professional tagline, your about section. This is, I know it says LinkedIn, but you can take this and use it for Instagram or whatever relevant platform you're going to be on. And then, kind of get brainstorming more so on like profiles, your abouts, how you're going to position yourself. And if you have any questions, as always, make sure you reach out, ask questions, collaborate, and I will see you in the next one. Welcome back to Module 3. We're going to go over social media for legal pros. So I want to go over some do's and don'ts with you. I know in the last module we were talking about platform selection and kind of how to determine what platforms to be on. Now I want to go a little more in depth and talk about some do's and don'ts, some best practices to keep in mind. And this is going over just some primary platforms that are more commonly used. I don't have Facebook on here, but if you have any specific questions about that, you can reach out. But overall, for the most part, these do's and don'ts can be applicable there as well. So some LinkedIn do's. We do want to use that platform for sharing more of like industry insights or maybe accomplishments and professional wins. We also want to utilize that platform to really engage meaningfully with our community and network. And ideally, a best practice on LinkedIn would be to post about 2 to 3 times a week. That's where I've seen the best growth, and that's very sustainable. A few don'ts we don't want to do would be to over promote, right? We don't want to be overly salesy. We don't want every post to be call me at this number to hire me or call me if you need a consultation. Like we don't want to lean into that. We want to have a balance. On the flip side though, we also don't want to share overly personal content. So we don't want every post to be just about yourself necessarily. We want to focus on our audience and who we're speaking to. We also don't want to ignore comments or messages. And I mean, this goes across all platforms. You know, if someone's reaching out to you with a question or conversation or commenting on a post, always take the time to respond back to that because it only helps your content in the long run. And then for Instagram, and it's applicable for TikTok as well, we do want to share more behind the scenes content. TikTok would be more leaning towards like entertaining, trending content, and Instagram's more so the behind the scenes kind of content, but it can be applicable to both. We also do want to use trending sounds when it's appropriate or feels aligned to us. We never want to force that. And we do want to use this as a space to share educational content that is easy to digest. And then a few don'ts to keep in mind back to the ethics would be, not sharing client information, of course, not giving legal advice, and also not spam posting. We don't want to post like 10 times a day. I think like a couple of years ago, I know that it was commonly recommended on TikTok to post a lot, like post a ton a day, as much as you can. Please don't fall into that because that only will cause overwhelm and stress. Lead with intention and value, and that's where you're going to see the most results. I promise. So content that converts, the 3 E's. Let's talk about those. Educate is the first one. This is, legal process explanations, industry updates or changes. An example of this could be like a myth versus the reality of maybe a common conception you see in your area of practice. Even sharing tips maybe if you're working with legal professionals. The second E is engage. So we want to ask questions to start conversations. We want to maybe respond to timely things, right? Timely things going on professionally. You can even share other people's content. That's a great way to engage with somebody else in a meaningful way if it relates to your audience and what you're talking about. And using that as an opportunity to poll your audience, get their thoughts, get their take. And then the last E is elevate. So that looks like more behind the scenes of your legal work, your professional development wins, your team maybe if you have a team, achievements, industry thought leadership. So really leading with that like expertise level of your personal insight. It's also safe to do process explanations without going into specifics, industry trends, commentary on what's happening. professional development insights, or even day in the life content. So more lifestyle, personal based things is always safe to share. We always want to avoid client details, case specifics, confidential information, specific legal advice, basically anything that could be identifying to a client, to a case, we don't want to share. And then I also went ahead and included this disclaimer that you can put in your own marketing content. I do this myself with the lawyers I work with. If we're ever doing a legal educational based post, we will insert this disclaimer in the caption. Hashtags. Let's also go over hashtags a little bit and talk about a good mix of hashtags that work well and how you can research hashtags. I also want to preface by saying I acknowledge that hashtags get a lot of back and forth in the marketing world, speaking as a marketing expert. However, hashtags still serve a purpose. It depends on the platform you're on, of course, with usage. But we have hashtags right on Instagram. TikTok has hashtags. LinkedIn has hashtags. Facebook has hashtags. There's a reason for that. All these platforms are now also doing is including SEO capabilities, so with keywords. And what hashtags serve is that keyword benefits. And then this is just a reminder to remember consistency beats perfection. So just remember that showing up authentically as yourself is what matters the most. Like, quality content over high production is the most important thing for sustainable growth. And also going back to the importance of engagement and nurturing your audience, making sure you're commenting meaningfully on people's posts, you're sharing and celebrating colleagues' wins, and then also building followers, of course. And then also building relationships, not just followers. So focusing on connecting with your ideal audience. The quality of your connections is far greater than the quantity of your followers. Wraps up Module 3. Now I want you to take all this information and create some content. So I put together a worksheet for you to start putting together 3 to 5 posts. We're going to pick the platform and start mapping out the content ideas. If you have any questions, reach out, and I'll see you in Module 4. Let's start talking about branding the legal business in Module 4. I want to talk about the distinction between a personal brand and a business brand. A personal brand is you. It's more focused on yourself as the professional, your expertise. Whereas the business brand is more so your firm or your practice. It's more so company values, client experience, things like that. So I have some examples there. Your personal brand can support your business brand and vice versa. So a great example is a client I have who has a personal brand, but she also has her law firm that she owns, and her law firm has its own branding as well. But both of them flow and tie into each other, right? Because she's the founder of the firm. So that would be an example of that. When it comes to naming your brand, so let's talk about what that looks like. For a freelance, more solo practice, we would want to go for something maybe like your name plus your specialty. So an example would be Sarah Johnson Legal Services, Martinez Paralegal Solutions. You could also do something more descriptive or location-based with your service tied to it, like Clear Path Legal Support, Trusted Legal Assistance. For a location one, Austin Legal Solutions, Midwest Paralegal Services. We do want to make sure in these names, though, we are not doing legal jargon, like technical terms, maybe hard to spell words, or overly long names. We want to make sure it's a name that is memorable, easy to say, and preferably easy to write. Creating your business tagline. So the formula here we want to go for is what you do, plus how you're different, plus the benefit. So examples would be expert paralegal services with personal attention, or maybe making legal processes simple and stress-free, or your trusted partner in legal success. 4 things I want you to keep in mind when you're coming up with your tagline would be to be memorable, make sure it's easy to say, clearly communicate your values, differentiate yourself. This is a key place to do that from your competitors, and make sure it resonates. Make sure it resonates with your target clients. Some logo basics for branding. Let's talk about that too. So a few key things we want to make sure are in our logo is that it's clean, it's a professional appearance. We want to make sure it's readable, and has appropriate colors, of course, to your branding or how you want to come across. And we would also want to make sure that it's scalable. So if we have a small logo we're using for marketing or content, we want to make sure it can be, resized without getting like blurry or looking a little bit off for business cards or even billboards if it comes to that. Some great options when it comes to logo creation. I highly recommend Canva. I use Canva all the time in my own work. I've made logos in Canva. Actually, my current logo was created in Canva by a graphic designer. You can do some simple, more text-based logos. You can even hire a freelancer like on Fiverr or Upwork to help you with creating one. But my biggest tip would be to keep it simple. It doesn't need to be overly complex. It doesn't need to go so many different pieces to it. It can be a simplistic logo. And your reputation matters far more. So don't get too caught up in the logo creation and let that stop you. It's better to start simplistic and run with it and evolve and change it as time goes. Let's also talk about your website. So some website must-haves. Essential pages you're going to want to have on your website, of course, is going to be an about page. We need a space for people to get to know who you are, what you do, your credentials. We want to have a services page that's going to be your offerings and maybe pricing if you share that. We also want a contact page, how people can reach you. And then testimonials is always so great. Showcasing the social proof of what people can expect from working with you. We also want to make sure the website is mobile friendly and that it works well on the phone. There's no major differences, fast loading times. You want to have a professional email address connected for your domain and things like that, and also have clear call to action buttons throughout your website. So if you have like a space for people to book a call or get in touch, we want to make sure that's clearly stated. Make sure your forms actually work, because believe it or not, that's a common mistake made. Filling that out, doing a test run, just making sure everything is running well there. And then some web content additional tips. Keeping in mind like you're writing for your clients, so make sure it's in simplistic, easy to understand terms and language. If you are location-based, include that. And also make sure you're regularly updating your site or maybe having a team or somebody to help you for SEO purposes as well. Let's talk about the client experience and brand consistency. So every single touch point should be reflecting your brand, and that goes from communication to service delivery. So communication style, like some examples of this would be your email signature, maybe your voicemail, your tone. Some visual ones would be colors, fonts, your headshots, any branded templates you might use for documents, proposals. Service delivery, more like client experience, reliable response times, clear processes and expectations, professional follow-up and check-ins. We want to make sure our branding and our values and our mission statement is reflected across all these areas. That is the end of Module 4. That was a lot about branding. So now what I've done is I've made a brand board worksheet for you to go through. It's a one-page brand board, just simplistic to get some things going, get some ideas flowing. I want you to write out what's coming up for you and start to put together a simplistic concept, at least, of what your branding would look like. And if you already have an idea, great. If you already have branding in the works or you did branding, that's amazing. You can use this as an opportunity to maybe revisit it, see if something needs to be updated or refreshed. And I will see you in Module 5. Back to the course, let's go over thought leadership and visibility strategy in Module 5. Let's define thought leadership first. So thought leadership is not about being the smartest, having decades of experience, or even being perfect. Instead, what thought leadership means is sharing your unique perspective. It's about coming from a place of help and education and value. It's also about consistently showing up with valuable insights and connecting ideas in different ways. You do not need to be an expert to be a thought leader, and that's a common misconception. You actually just need to lead with value and wanting to truly help. So being a thought leader is really just about conveying in your content your personal insight, your personal expertise. We don't want to get what we could Google when we follow you. We want to get your personal take on things. So let's also talk about finding opportunities here. Some tips is to start where you are. That's the biggest tip of all when it comes to finding opportunities as you're starting your thought leadership journey and, starting to share more of your insights and expertise. Local paralegal associations is a great place to do that. Bar association events, LinkedIn articles is an online approach you could take, and of course, professional groups. And when it comes to imposter syndrome, I want to touch on that too, because I feel like when it comes to being a thought leader, showing up, creating content, speaking from your heart and your mind, going to events, networking, imposter syndrome can come up for a lot of us. Like, that's very normal, and just know that you're not alone in that. Some things that will help keep you grounded when that comes up is just remembering these things. I know more than someone who's just starting. So kind of remembering where you've come from in your journey. We all start somewhere, obviously. And remember that your unique perspective matters. People want to hear what you have to say about things. And I think reminding ourselves that our values, our opinions, our thoughts matter is really the biggest part of it. This is huge. Focus on serving others, not just promoting yourself. You're not doing all of this just for self-promotion, right? At the end of the day, your why is likely that you want to help people. You want to be able to help somebody else and help them with their legal case or legal troubles. So leaning more on that tends to help a lot when those imposter syndrome feelings or thoughts come up. And then, of course, remembering everyone starts somewhere. Everyone had to start from ground zero. And ask yourself, well, what would I want to know when I was starting out? Like, think back to yourself as an example. And when you are sharing insights and speaking your mind and attending events and networking, keeping that in mind can also be a helpful tool. When it comes to visibility with the online space and writing, I wanted to go over how you could utilize LinkedIn articles as a tool to do that. So with LinkedIn articles, there is 500 to 1,000 words maximum. It's a great place to share personal experiences and lessons learned. You can include actionable tips that readers can use immediately there. Biggest thing would be to post consistently. I would say at least once a month. More if you can is fantastic, but once a month is a great start. And I just wanted to give some starter topics to get you thinking about what you could write up. You could do things like 5 things I wish I knew as a new paralegal. Maybe talk about technology, AI. AI is huge. How that's changed your practice. Maybe lessons learned from your career so far, or common mistakes you see made in your specialty area or your practice. The formula I included here is we want to hook to grab people, grab their attention, go into the story, go into the experience. We want to dive into the lesson learned, the takeaway, the value, and then an actionable tip. We always want to give people, this is the value, this is the information, but here is XYZ for you to take action and actually implement it. Speaking and networking. So I want to go over opportunities and also some networking tips. So for speaking opportunities, these could look like local association meetings, doing a 15-minute presentation, professional workshops, even continuing education sessions, and then networking. What we want to keep in mind for really getting the most out of networking is quality over quantity. A lot of people go into networking events feeling like they have to introduce themselves to everyone in the room, right? And that's not necessarily the case. While that's great, we do want to focus on quality. So it'd be better if you walked out of that event speaking to 5 people and having meaningful conversation, setting up a coffee date or exchanging contact info versus rushing and speaking to 50 people but not exchanging any information, right? That's something to keep in mind, and that can take away the stress too of going to networking and feeling like you have to speak to every single person. Also focusing on giving value. So rather than going right up to someone and saying, I'd love to work together with you, I feel like we have a lot in common, rather than just going in for the ask, giving value. So maybe coming from a place of where they're at in their journey, what they do, how you can serve them. Being the person that helps others succeed. So that kind of goes back to coming from the place of serving and value. And following up is huge. So of course, after you connect and network, follow up, nurture that connection, just like you would with social media, how we're nurturing our community. You want to nurture the people you meet and connect with through networking. If you're feeling like you have some fears around showing up online, creating content, you are not alone. It's something I still struggle with to this day after 5+ years of doing social media for lawyers and doing it myself. I have my own personal brand. I think it just comes down to having some mantras, some reminders, some tools and resources to ground yourself when you're feeling those fears come up. So I wanted to share a few things with you that have helped me. One is kind of a shift from if you're feeling like I don't have enough experience. The shift for me, I remind myself, is, okay, I'm sharing what I'm learning, not just what I know. So I'm sharing as I go as well. None of us are fully finished. We're all on our own journeys. We're always learning. So coming from that place has been very helpful for me. The other thing is I don't have time. I don't have time to make this post. I'm running a business, right? I have other things to do. I'm wearing too many hats. Maybe you're a mom, maybe you're a wife, maybe a father, a husband. Start with 15 minutes per week. Like literally we can all carve out 15 minutes to doing something that's important for us and prioritizing it if it's that important to us. So that's my biggest tip there, is to carve out, even if it's 15 minutes, it's better than 0 minutes. The last one is, what if I say something wrong? So coming from a place of feeling like you might say something incorrect or inaccurate, we always want to speak from experience, of course, and including the disclaimers will be very helpful. So the disclaimers I shared earlier in the presentation, saving that and including that in your content, and then making sure you're, of course, referring to the ethics, right? Go back to the ethics, go back to the guidelines, and make sure you are speaking from experience and not giving too much identifying information. At the end of module 5, I know we've covered so much in this course so far. We have one more module to go, and I just want to say I'm so proud of you for making it this far, because it's not easy. There is a lot to marketing, and it can feel overwhelming, but the fact that you've pushed through and you're really determined to learn more about the foundation of marketing and the basics speaks volumes. To help you implement everything we just covered in this module, I've put together a 90-day visibility plan and pitch template. So this is going to help you with the LinkedIn articles we talked about. It'll also help you brainstorm about the speaking opportunities, networking goals, and I even include an email pitch template for you on the second page of the download. So take a look at that. Let me know if you have any questions. Reach out, and I will see you in the last module. I also just want to include an insert in here if you have any feedback, any questions at all about what we covered in this one about thought leadership or visibility strategy. You can go to our Slack community, ask questions there. I'm happy to help troubleshoot anything you're facing, any challenges, questions coming up, and most importantly, make sure you connect with the other legal professionals in this course as well. Welcome back to Module 6. We are wrapping up this course talking about marketing that converts. A little over email marketing and what that looks like. I wanted to share first why email works. So why is email such a powerful thing to have in your marketing plan? Well, email is beneficial for a few reasons. It's direct communication, first of all. So you have a social media post, and email is more direct to who you're trying to reach. Email can also be really, really valuable for building relationships and also positioning you as a helpful resource to people. Costs can range depending on the email marketing system you're using, if you outsource a team to help you, but it can be pretty affordable to maintain an email marketing system and to grow an email list. Kind of like an overview of a simple email strategy could look like a monthly newsletter with some legal tips. You could have follow-up sequences in place for new people who sign up. And you can also share any updates about your services, your availability, and of course include educational content that is new to your audience. My biggest tip would be to keep things simple with your email marketing, especially at first. Consistency, again, just like with content, beats perfection. Talking about the services without selling, so how that would look. When you are explaining your paralegal services or what you do, Instead of saying things like, I provide paralegal services, try something more like, I help small firms streamline their case management. Or instead of hire me for document review, say something like, I make sure your documents are accurate and compliant. We want to always be coming from a place of outcome, not service. And this is applicable for email and content. The educational approach would look something like, sharing tips that demonstrate your expertise. Also explaining processes in simple terms, addressing any common questions maybe your clients have, and just really focusing on positioning yourself as a helpful expert. To your email marketing and the simple strategy I just shared a couple slides back, we want to have a lead magnet first of all, because a lead magnet is going to be a free, valuable resource you offer for someone to sign up for your email list, right? Very rarely is someone going to want to just give you their email just to be on your list. Most people want to get something back instantaneously, which is where a lead magnet comes into play. So I already went ahead, I put some ideas here to just help you brainstorm what that could look like. It could be something as simple as, a legal document checklist maybe for small businesses, or 5 questions to be asking before someone's hiring a lawyer. Maybe a timeline breakdown, a timeline of what to expect during a certain process, even legal technology tools that help save time. And this would be more so for maybe other legal professionals, like nurturing those referral relationships. That would probably be a helpful resource. I would say the first 3 are more so for, like directly to your ideal client. So you can kind of think up of a couple lead magnets. Start with one. Don't get overwhelmed and make a bunch, but start with one, preferably one that is direct to your ideal audience, your ideal client. On the road, you can always make more about for legal professionals or for nurturing more of your referral relationships. Comes to ethically nurturing your clients and your contacts through email, it's pretty similar to social media. We want to provide value first, right? We want to lead with the value. We also want to share relevant resources and updates. We want to make sure we're letting people feel like we are keeping them in the know and checking in, of course, on their legal needs, how they're doing, celebrating their wins, celebrating their milestones. We do not want to give specific legal advice, of course. So if someone were to respond maybe to an email and say, oh, I have this happened to me though, like what should I do? Probably the best approach there is to redirect them through your proper channels of like a consultation form, booking a call. Including disclaimers will be really important as well for email, same as social media, and then respecting that attorney-client privilege. Again, this always comes back to focusing and coming from a place of education and value. Goal is to always be the first person they think of when they need help. So that's what we're trying to achieve. And then let's also talk about ROI. So some things to look for as you start your email marketing. There's some simple stats, right, that you want to be checking in on depending on what platform you're going to use. Every marketing software for email has analytics. We want to aim for healthy email open rates, meaning a good percentage of people opening your emails. And statistics show that aiming for 20% is a pretty good open rate, especially for legal-oriented content. I want to look at if we're getting website traffic. So if we're getting website traffic over from social media, that's always a great sign. So these stats are applicable to email and to social media. Whatever website hosting service you use, there should be analytics there. You should be able to see, how many people are viewing your website and if they're coming from a social media platform. Usually they have that. You might have to pay for that feature, but that's very helpful to have. And also checking within yourself, right? Within your own business and your intake process. How many new inquiries are coming through a month? Are you noticing more? Are you noticing less? And then referrals from networking efforts as well. What we want to keep in mind too is what actually matters here. What actually matters is quality of leads, not just the quantity. So if you are, trying to get 50 leads a month and right now you're getting 5 really solid quality leads, we want to make sure we are paying attention to that piece of it as well, not getting too caught up in the numbers and the volume, but also the quality. We also want to have those repeat clients, have those repeat referrals, build that recognition in our professional communities, and then build up those speaking and collaboration opportunities, because that's really in the long run what's going to help you build a brand. And then also just every month, I love to do this too, just taking some time to look through everything and say, what's working well, what isn't working well. I do this with my clients. I do a monthly analytic report every month for them. And in that report, we go over that, like what content is doing well, what content's not doing well, what feels like it needs adjusting. So always kind of adjusting and ebbing and flowing. So putting it all together now, your marketing system should look something like this. We should have attract, which means content and networking bring people to you. So the content we're putting out, the networking efforts, it's bringing in those leads, it's bringing in those relationships. We want to have engage, which is email and social media efforts that are helping us build relationships. We also want to nurture, so we want to provide helpful resources and value to build that trust, like and know factor. And we want to convert. We want to have leads feel like they trust us enough to convert to referrals, to opportunities, to clients. Marketing is all about serving, helping, providing value. It is never about selling, just selling something. So keep that in mind. To wrap up our last module, I put together a lead magnet and marketing funnel outline for you. Very simplistic, just to kind of get things going and get thoughts going. So I want you to complete this worksheet. It's going to help you come up with a lead magnet that we talked about for your emails. Some simplistic email ideas to start putting out, a content calendar to make sure you're nurturing your contacts, and then also a simple tracking system at the bottom to make sure you're getting the ROI and the results that we just talked about as well. And that is it. You have completed the course. I am so proud of you for sticking around and completing the course. I know it was a lot of information. To recap, this is everything we've gone through. You now are walking away with knowledge around audience targeting, how to build a strong personal brand, strategic content planning, professional business brand building, thought leadership, and marketing systems that convert. That was a lot of information. So just to give you some simplistic next steps to take away, I want you to implement one thing from each module this week. And if you've been taking this in chunks and not watching this all at once, hopefully you've been implementing something slowly as you've gone. Also, make sure you connect with those that are taking this course. Connect with them on social media. Find them on LinkedIn.
You just completed the legal marketing and personal branding course, and I hope you're walking away not just informed, but inspired. Because growth in the legal field doesn't happen by accident, it happens by design, and you're the designer of your own career. If you loved this course, explore more at the Limitless Paralegal Academy, where each lesson is another step towards your limitless potential. Until next time, stay grounded, stay curious, and above all, stay limitless.